bow. It's actually bow. Stern is back. I'm still learning these new naval terms. Wasn't familiar with. Twin 20s in the middle here, and a 37 right here in the back. So combined firepower of these 4 cannons is simple. Plus you get these torpedo tubes. Look like this. There we go. Now let's get this baby up to full speed. I just, this is important I show you this before we move on to the next boat that I'm about to showcase, just for the comparison section. So 22 people on board this one, 3 engines. As you can see, most of the people are below the deck doing something important. So just for the comparison sake, look at these guys and their boat. So this is S-100, German Master of the Seas, mostly wooden hull, and then some armor on the bridge and around the engines. Engines are in 2 separate compartments. Some of these modifications have depth charges. This particular one doesn't have them. And 4 torpedoes. For the sake of this demonstration, we have infinite ammunition, but in reality, you would only have 2 of these salvos. So these 2 salvos, you can launch individual torpedoes if you desire so. So there we go. And that was S-100, guys. Now, we're moving on to the next section. Let's just go back to this screen while I reconfigure the demonstration for you guys. Just a second. Okay. All right, this should work just fine. Okay, I present to you the PT-810. PT-810. Before we take a look at it, let's talk a little bit about its history. So, we're pleased to present another hero of War Thunder naval warfare, the heavily armed American PT-810 boat. Okay, so you guys have to understand, this is much bigger than PT-109. PT-810 was one of the 4 experimental boats built in 1945 with various armaments, but with an identical powertrain. She's a rather large boat with a draft displacement of 90 tons. This torpedo boat was designed to be equipped with armaments of several types at once. The first, of course, was torpedoes. 4 torpedo tubes with Mark 16 torpedoes were located along the vessel's hull. In the stern, the engineers placed 2 depth charge launchers. They also didn't skimp on artillery armament. The experience of real-life battles had resulted in some significant corrections to the requirements for patrol boats. 2 single Bofors 40mm cannons were installed in rotating turrets in the bow and stern of the boat. 2 twin 20mm guns were mounted on the bridge and above the engine compartment. Are you following this? It's just the sheer firepower of this thing. This thing outguns Fairmile. Seriously. As if this wasn't enough, the boat was also equipped with an 81mm Mark II Model 0 mortar that can fire directly and indirectly. Without further ado, let's just take a look at this thing in action, because I'm actually dying to see it. I did try it once, and I gotta tell you, that mortar is something else. I mean, it's just... Most of the time, it's a single shot thing, okay? You hit something and it's dead. I mean, dead for good. Okay, here it is, PT-810, the latest American craft that we're presenting with Knights of the Sea. So as I said, 2 40s, 4 20s, and a mortar, plus 4 torpedoes. This is like a moving gun platform, This is PT-810. It's a gorgeous looking craft, very fast, very, very fast. Going up to like 94 kilometers an hour. Look at this. Let's go a little bit into the open sea and try and get as much speed as we can. So a 93, 94, 97. Look at this. 100. 100 is like probably, yeah, that's as fast as 101, 103. But that's due to the waves because we're drinking. Okay, let's try to steer this thing. It's not as easily controlled as the PT PT-109, but it's actually a much larger craft. If you remember, PT-109 has 12 people. This has 27. So naturally, it's a much bigger craft. Just look at these huge engines and carriage crews, plus sizable, very sizable fuel tanks over there, split into two separate compartments. This probably gives you more targets to shoot at if you're fighting against the PT-810. The craft is propelled by 4 engines, each putting out 1,200 horsepower. Thanks to the boat's small mass, these engines give her an excellent speed of over 44 knots. In the game, the vessel has a crew of 27 people. So here it is. In War Thunder, the PT-810 will take a relatively high position in the U.S. Navy tech tree once it's released. The high rank is explained simply by the overwhelming combat capability for a craft of this class that has absolutely universal application for such a patrol boat. Her powerful torpedoes are suitable for destroying large enemy ships. The rapid-firing twin Oerlikon cannons and swiftly rotating turret mounts are perfectly suited for firing at air targets and for eliminating crews of enemy vessels. Plus, the 40mm cannons will absolutely knock out all the critically important internal modules of enemy boats and can cause numerous fires with only a few hits. But none of this is likely to be required if the player can accurately fire the boat's most powerful weapon, the 81mm mortar, a mere few shots from which can guarantee the destruction of any vessel of the same class. Okay, let's test out these guns, shall we? I mean, we've been talking a long time. Let's do a broadside. And this torpedo. I'm sorry, not the torpedo, but mortar. Let's check this out. As I fire the mortar, this is like the biggest caliber on the boat. There's like a big splash directly underneath it. This is the mortar. This is the mortar right here. You see? That kind of looks like a machine gun, but it's not. It's actually a mortar. So it can be fired directly and indirectly. And also, yeah, you get these 20 mil cannons here. Okay. So, in real life, that mortar also had a machine gun on top of it installed, so we might add that at a later date. So there you go. Also, torpedoes. That's a full spread. 4 torpedoes. One just sunk. Okay. Alright. Okay, so this is it. Let's give it another broadside. Man, the recoil is so powerful. It actually rocks the boat around when you fire. Some serious firepower on this thing, what can I say? So 240s, 420s, and a mortar. The mortar's on the side though, so it's off to the side a little bit. Keep that in mind when you're going to be engaging your enemies. But this is probably, after the torpedoes, that should be its main armor. Absolutely.